So I heard that 2026 is the year that we are turning getting hot into a hobby, and I am here for it. I had already decided before I started hearing this trend of making getting hot an actual hobby, I had already decided that I was planning on making this my hottest year yet. See my previous YouTube video. But the fact that we now get to look at it from this angle of like getting hot is a hobby. It's something that you practice. It's something that you get to play with. It's something that you get to experiment with. Just brought so much more joy into this pursuit of hotness. And I hope that it's doing the same for you. And if you are also on board to make 2026 your hottest year yet, then stick around because we're going to talk about what my plan is. As someone who has never truly prioritized being hot before in their life and now has decided that this year, the year that I turned 32, is going to be my hottest year that I have had yet. Okay. So first off, let's touch on this desire to be hot. I don't know if you're anything like me, but I have had this feeling of guilt towards wanting to be hot for my entire life. I feel like I've had this desire, this want to be the hottest version of myself for the longest time, but I've never actually allowed myself to step into that and to actually pursue that as a goal. I think that I had convinced myself in my mind that wanting to be hot was a shallow thing. It was something that I shouldn't focus on because there were so many other things that were better for me to focus on. And I still feel this internal battle inside of me about publicly speaking about wanting to be hot and how that's going to have others perceive me and what that makes me think about myself. But I have decided that I don't care. I have already spent so much time, energy, and effort into chasing so many other goals. I have become a very smart version of myself. I have an amazing career. I have an amazing husband. I love my character. I have a very great connection with God. There are so many things in my life that are already amazing. I think that I have spent a ton of my effort and a ton of my attention pursuing the things that maybe are more worthwhile and less shallow. However, I do think that becoming the hottest version of yourself is part of being the best version of yourself. And I am someone who is obsessed with growth. I want to be the best version of myself. And one facet of that is becoming the hottest version of myself. So I am not living up to my full potential if I'm not also trying to be the hottest version of myself. So I had already, before this became a trend, decided that I did not care if it was shallow for me to pursue being hot. I wanted it. It was something that I have always desired. It is something that I've always admired in others. And I had decided this is my year. This is my year that I am going to focus on being hot. So if you've also felt some sort of guilt, or maybe if you feel some sort of resistance to the word hot, maybe you can relate, but just know that you are not wrong for wanting to be hot. We live in a world that values being hot. It is something that it is a resource. It's like having money, power, fame, any of those things. Being is a resource like that. And there is nothing wrong with wanting to be hot. There is nothing wrong with wanting to acquire more of that resource if you are in it for the right reasons and you're not pursuing that as your only sense of worth, right? I am someone who I have already found my sense of worth. I'm not deciding that I want to be hot because I don't feel like I'm enough and because I feel like I need that in order to be lovable, in order to be worthy. No, I already feel so lovable and so worthy, but I just feel like my life would be enhanced from being a better looking version of myself. So I am finally deciding that this is the year that I'm going to say I don't care about if it's moral or not. It is. It's totally fine and acceptable. I think it's very similar to pursuing money or fame or any of those things, right? If that is your only pursuit in life and you think that's going to bring you fulfillment, it's not going to, and you're probably going to get to your destination if you ever do and realize that you've lived a really miserable life. Wanting money is not bad. Wanting power is not bad. Wanting fame is not bad. Wanting beauty, not bad. As long as you are also pursuing worthwhile things at the same time. And yes, I am also doing those things. I also want to be a really good person. I want to have a great impact on the world. I want all of those things. And I want to be hot. And that's okay. And that is something that I have had to come to terms with. And I'm still struggling with internally, honestly. But I know in my heart of hearts that it is perfectly okay for me to set this goal of wanting to be hot this year. I know that it will only make me a better version of myself. It is not going to take me away from all of these other things. It's not going to suddenly change my heart and make me so dissatisfied with life if I don't feel like I look beautiful on a certain day. So all of that to say, if you also feel somewhat guilty for wanting to be hot, know that you're not alone in that. And that it's okay to choose to want to be hot. It's okay. You can pursue other things. You can be a holy woman. You can be an amazing friend. You can be an amazing wife. You can be all of these things and also want to be hot. That's okay. So that is the space that we are creating here. This is a space where it's okay to be multifaceted and to want to be hot, smart, rich. Shout out if you know that podcast. It's amazing. Whatever adjectives you want to describe yourself, you can be that and also be hot. And that's perfectly okay. Okay, so let's start talking steps. If you want to make this the hottest year of your life and you want to make being hot a hobby, where do you begin? I don't know if you're anything like me, your TikTok knows that you want this to be your hottest year yet. So it's feeding you all kinds of things. It's saying you need Botox here, you need this kind of filler, you need Sculptra, you need facial plastic surgery, you need facial balancing, you need new fake boobs, you need all of these different things in order to be beautiful. Now, there is nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with doing any of those things. However, I think a place that you should start first is, you might not like this, but you need to develop self-love for where you are at today. If you think, I will finally love myself when I get that surgery, I will finally love myself when I have erased my wrinkles and my face is frozen solid, you might feel that way for a little bit. Maybe you'll look in the mirror and you'll like this enhancement that you've done to yourself. But if you feel like your worth is dependent on how beautiful you look in the mirror, you're probably never going to feel worthy. It might help for a little bit, but it's not true confidence. Honestly, I'm so happy that I have lived my life in the way that I have, and I haven't fully pursued being hot up until this point, because I have developed so much self-love that is not dependent on how hot I am on the outside. It's truly not. I love myself. I'm already married. I know that I'm lovable exactly as I am. I have the best relationship with God, and I know that my worth comes from being his daughter. And just because you exist, you are worthy. And I truly believe that from the bottom of my heart. So right now, when I'm pursuing becoming hotter, it's not from a place of lack. It's not like, I'll finally be enough once I feel beautiful. I'll finally feel like I'm enough once I'm hot. No, that's not how it is at all. I genuinely already feel like I'm enough. I feel like I'm worthy, but I'm like, let's step it up. I love myself already at this level. Imagine how much I'll love myself when I do this, like it's not, my worth is not dependent on it. I'm doing this for fun. I'm doing this as an exploration. I'm doing this as a form of expression. It is truly a hobby. My worth is not coming from it. And your journey will become so much more successful if you can get to that place. Now, I'm not saying you need to love yourself before you start this journey. You can do the two hand in hand. However, if you are going to be doing things to enhance your outer appearance, you also need to be working on your inherent self-worth, because self-love, honestly, the people who are the most attractive are the ones who love themselves the most. There is something that is so sexy, that is so hot about a woman who just knows her worth and loves herself exactly as she is. That is confidence. That is where true confidence comes from. So all of that to say, if you are beginning on this physical glow up journey, make sure you're also doing a little bit of that inner work as well. Let me know if that's something that you'd be interested in me making like a whole video on, like how I got to a place where I actually loved myself, because trust me, that has not always been the case. You name a struggle, I've probably gone through it and have not loved myself because of it. I used to be a raging alcoholic, and it was because I didn't love myself. I have now been sober for almost 5 years, and it's because I found my worth within. I don't feel like I need to escape from my life. I genuinely love who I am and who I'm becoming every single day. And I want that for you as well. So yes, that is one thing I would say is, yes, absolutely go on this physical glow up journey. I'm doing it, but also make sure you are focusing on the confidence that's coming from within, because that is how you're truly going to become the hottest version of yourself, is when you emit that energy where you know you're hot, where you know you're confident, when you just love yourself and you feel worthy. Okay. So I would start with that. So at the same time as you're doing all these physical glow ups, also be doing that inner glow up. Okay, now my second tip that I have for you, places to start, these are foundations, okay? Work on your fitness. When you are healthy, when you are happy with your body, when you feel comfortable in your skin, you show up differently. Fitness was my gateway into the self-help world. It was my gateway into finding God. It was the beginning of everything. And I think it is for a lot of people. I think a lot of times the first time that you are doing any sort of personal growth, it is when you start to embark on your fitness journey. And once you start to realize how much you benefit from taking care of yourself and putting effort into feeling and looking good, it just makes you want to do it in every other area of your life. So I know that for me, it was the absolute catalyst to me turning into the best version of myself. And it could totally be that for you as well. So find a way to move your body that you love. Find a way to eat that nourishes your body and feels good. Find a personal trainer if you feel like you need help. Look online. There's so many resources and stuff out there. There's so many ways that you can do this. But I promise you that if you are wanting to be your hottest self, you need to be taking care of your body and not just to look a certain way. There's nothing wrong with wanting to look a certain way. In fact, my goal for the beginning of this year is to grow my glutes. It is a fully aesthetic goal, only because I already have that foundation. I already am healthy from the inside. I did my Function Health. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but it's like blood work and stuff that you do. I'm about to be 32 years old, but my test said that my biological age is 21. Okay, so I am 10 years younger on the inside because I've taken care of myself. And I know that my health and my fitness, my nutrition, all of those things are what have contributed to that. I think the area of my life, honestly, in terms of external appearance that I have done the most work on and that I have had the most success in is my body. That is one of the areas that I think makes me the hottest right now, because it shows that I'm disciplined. It shows that I take care of myself, and it looks good. I've worked really hard for that body, and I've spent so many years doing it, and I want that for you as well. So if you are in a place where you don't absolutely love your body, you don't feel comfortable in your skin, I promise you that the body that you desire is possible. So find an expert. I'm a certified personal trainer if you're interested, and really make sure that you're prioritizing your health and your fitness journey and eating well, eating clean whole foods at least 80% of the time, and fueling your body and figuring out what works best for your own personal self and your own personal goals. And I want to assure you, there are ways to do this that do not feel like restriction. I eat basically whatever I want in moderation. I eat super healthy most of the time because that's the kind of food that I crave. But one thing I'm still working on is that sugar demon inside of me. I am addicted to sugar, straight up. I know it's not good for my skin. I know it's not good for my body, but I love it. So that is one of the things I'm also working on this year. Okay, I know that I will have a better body. I know that I will feel healthier and I will look better if I cut back on my sugar intake. So that's something that we're working on. That is part of my journey to being the hottest version of myself. If you are also trying to detox from sugar, let me know and I can post what I've been doing and recipes that I've been having instead so that I don't have as much processed sugar and all of that fun stuff. But yes, my second thing that I would say is absolutely foundational is taking care of your fitness and your health. Okay, the next one is another foundational thing, taking care of your skin, figuring out your skincare. This is something that I have been trying to do for literally my entire life. I have struggled with my skin and I have worked with doctors. I've gone to dermatologists. I've bought all the expensive products that people have recommended on TikTok. I have done all the things and nothing has worked, but I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep experimenting with things. And that's why making being hot a hobby has just freed this up so much. It takes the pressure off, right? Like I don't need to fix my skin. I would love to, but I'm going to experiment with it. I'm going to say, okay, if I try this, how does that make me feel? If I do this, how does my skin look? And I have taken pictures of myself. I've taken pictures of my body to see how my body recomposition changes. I've taken pictures of my skin close up to see how my skin changes throughout the year. And I talked to my friend ChatGPT and I said, here's all the things that I'm struggling with. And Chat was like, you're doing too much. Your skin is red and inflamed, which is going to cause you to have more acne and more wrinkles because you're not treating it well. So it's like, back up. Don't do so many things. And that's what I've done. And honestly, so far, it's working. It's helped a ton. And eventually I will be able to reintroduce some stuff back in. And I probably will go see like a professional dermatologist and all of that fun stuff. But that is another thing that I'm working on is my skin health. And a big part of that is, unfortunately, the sugar that I'm consuming. So I'm trying to cut back sugar. I'm trying new products. I'm scaling it back. And every single day for the past 31 days, I have done my red light mask from Omnilux with a meditation. It has been the best habit. I've loved it. It's been so good for my nervous system, which I think also helps you be less inflamed. The red light mask itself, being consistent with that has helped so much. And it has made being hot a hobby. Like now it's not only a hobby, but it's also my habits that I'm doing every single day. So there's a daily activity that I'm doing to make myself hot. And that's amazing. So that's another tip that I have is if you can turn any of these things into habits, for example, building the habit of working out, building the habit of drinking enough water, building the habit of your red light mask, or whatever these habits are that are going to contribute to your overall health, but also your aesthetic appearance, that's amazing. Bonus points. That makes it easier because then you eventually get to a place where it's habitual. You don't even think about it and you just do it. Okay, so let's recap. So far, we've talked about 1, work on your inner self-love. 2, work on your health and your fitness. 3, work on your skin health. Okay. Now this one's super niche, but I had noticed when I was vlogging for my whole Cancun trip Feel free to go back and watch if you're interested. I had a lazy eye, and I've always had a lazy eye. I've had a lazy eye. I think second grade was the first time that I went to the eye doctor and they told me about it. And it's something that I have felt so insecure about, but I didn't know that I had anymore. And I don't know if I have it all the time or if it's just like being on camera and looking at the camera lens brings it out of me, but I have a lazy eye. And I know that back in the day, they told me there was like exercises and stuff to do, and I just didn't do it. I never did it. I just felt like I was a victim to my lazy eye. I'm not a victim to my lazy eye. So every morning and every evening, I've been wearing an eye patch, making myself look like a pirate so that I can train my right eye, which is weaker currently because it has astigmatism, so that I no longer have a lazy eye. So again, that's another habit that I've built. So I don't know. Obviously fill in the blank here, because the chances are that most of you probably do not struggle with a lazy eye. But if there's one thing that you have that bothers you about yourself and there's like an easy fix to it, make it a daily habit to fix that thing. Why not? There's probably something that is an easy fix or a daily something that you can do to take little tiny actions. And it doesn't feel like it's working yet. I've been doing it for like 30 days and I still don't feel like I've seen like major success, but I'm sticking with it. I'm being consistent because this year is a year that I'm becoming the hottest version of myself. And the hottest version of myself does not have that lazy eye. She has fixed it. She has healed it. And she's also consistent. She does the things that she said she's going to do. Okay. So that is like the bulk of what I wanted to talk about. Set those foundational habits. Whatever's going to move the needle the most for you, those are the things that you should focus on first. Don't just set this big or overarching goal that says, I want to be hot this year. Okay, how do you do that? Break it into small, tiny steps. If you don't know how to do that, talk to chat. So this is something that I wanted to create this app, or I wanted to like hire a person that was like my beauty consultant. And I couldn't find anyone. I don't know if this actually exists out there, but I think it should, where it's essentially like a consultant or like a project manager who helps you become the hottest version of yourself, right? Like they just understand the beauty world so well. They know all the right places to go in your area. They can look at you and see where you are currently and know what kind of things that you can do to enhance your appearance. I think that would be the coolest thing ever. If you are a person who like knows a lot about beauty, please look into starting a business for this, because so many people would hire you. I would pay literally thousands of dollars for this. Literally thousands of dollars. It would be worth it. But anyways, since I don't think that exists currently, what I have been doing is I created like a project on ChatGPT, and it's called my Glow Up Project. And that is where I've told Chat to be my beauty consultant and to help me walk through like the things that will be the most beneficial for me and the things that I can do to implement as monthly, daily, weekly habits to actually make me look hotter. And so far, I feel like it's working. But I talked to Chat and I said, hey, these are all the things that I'm struggling with. What are the areas that are going to make the most impact? If you're going to start this journey, you want to have big impact from the very beginning, right? You want to have incentive to keep yourself going. So pick some big hitters from the very beginning and find the daily, weekly, monthly habits that are going to lead you to enhancing your appearance in that way, and take action and check in on yourself consistently. Take those before pictures. Say, hey, this is how I look today. And then every week, check back in on that. If you're not consistently checking back in, you could be getting so much hotter without even realizing it. That is why every personal trainer ever will have you take weekly progress pictures, because you might not notice your changes day to day, but when you document it through pictures, you will see that you're going either in the right direction or in the wrong direction and you need to pivot. So that is my steps that I would do. If you have all this information in your brain, make a plan, make a solid plan that includes daily, weekly, monthly habits. Take pictures of where you're currently at, and every single week, reflect on how you're doing towards becoming the hottest version of yourself. Take pictures. Get used to reflecting on the things that you've done this week to work towards that goal. Make it a habit, make it a hobby, make it something that you are doing consistently. And most importantly, have fun with it. Don't put so much pressure on it. Try your hardest to be like, hey, this is something that I'm experimenting with. This is something that I'm doing. This is something that I'm playing with. This is something that I'm doing for fun. And if you're doing something that is not fun, well, then pivot. Figure out how you can make it more fun. Because, like I said, ladies, this is the year that we are going to be the hottest versions of ourselves. And we're going to do it in a way that is fun. We're going to enjoy the journey. We are not only going to get to the end of 2026 and say, I feel like I look the best that I've ever looked. You're also going to say, I also feel the best that I've ever felt. You're also going to say, I had so much fun on this journey. And now being hot is one of my hobbies. And that's amazing. So thank you so much for watching this just casual chatty vlog. I was trying to figure out how I could talk about this because it's something that I think is so fun. And I know that there's other people out there who are on a similar journey as me who want to get hot as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I think that's all I have for you. So until next time, I hope you have the best day.